what you gonna do tonight? I've got my mama's car keys and you've got a ticket to ride.
Hello, and welcome to Your Favorite Flick, a podcast where each episode we celebrate a movie that my guest loves. We aren't here to be critics, we're here to be fans. It's Top Gun. It's Jeff Glaser. What else do you need to know? Let's get to it. Jeff Glaser, welcome back to the show. Now, look, I think we need to talk about something up front. Longtime listeners know that Jeff is dead to the show. It's canon. So, Jeff, tell the audience what you did to get yourself back on the show today.
Okay. Something very, very important happened today. And that is since the multiplexes aren't full, they're re-releasing all kinds of classic movies in the theater. And we discovered that Top Gun was playing on the big screen. And so we each rushed out and got a ticket and decided we would do an emergency podcast. This is like CNN if the country goes to war, although I don't really think that classifies as an emergency anymore, given our time. Or like major trade happens in the NDA, or like Joe Burrow decides he wants to go to Saints. This is our Top Gun emergency podcast.
I am very much in on that. At your insistence, I altered all of my plans, which frankly weren't much, to go see this afternoon. And man, was I glad I did. I don't think that I actually saw this on the big screen when it came out.
I 100% did not. What year did it come out? I have done no research at all.
Yeah,
other
yeah,
than
no,
seeing
that's great. That's great. It came out in 1986, so I was 9, you were 4. This is PG-13. I don't think mom would have brought me to see this one.
No, yeah, I thought about bringing my 9 and 6-year-old. My 9-year-old probably would not have liked it. She would have liked Kelly McGillis, and my 6-year-old would have loved it, and that is why I could not take him to see it.
I could see some risks there with my nephew.
I will say we just watched Ninja Turtles 2 right before signing on to this podcast, which is excellent, by the way. And I asked him if he liked it, and then he did a series of karate moves as his answer.
It's really the right answer.
It's the only answer.
So we were texting before this, and we decided to do something a little bit different here. We're going to talk about the 1986 Oscars, or I guess technically the 1987 Oscars, because Jeff, I believe you think that Top Gun got screwed.
All right, I'm going to be totally honest. I have no idea what was nominated or won in 1986. I'm fairly certain that it has 0 nominations and more certain that it has 0 wins. And quite frankly, that's a snub. It's the great snubs of 1986.
Well, you're wrong on both counts. It had multiple nominations and in one win, which we'll get to.
Best song, that's what it's got to be, right?
It does. We'll get there.
Yes.
So I've put an order to the categories here. It's a little bit different than you'd see on the broadcast, but I thought it's one that would make sense for us. And you already mentioned Kelly McGillis. I'm going to start us off with Best Actress. The winner that year was Marlee Matlin for Children of a Lesser God.
Never heard of her. Never heard of her.
Well, I do want to point out to you that Marlee Matlin's a deaf actress. It's a romantic drama about her at a deaf school. Your mother is a speech pathologist. I probably should say our mother is a speech pathologist who works with deaf and hearing impaired children and has called this her favorite performance of all time. So are you now going to tell me?
All right. Well, am I going to tell you that mom's wrong? Well, she did just buy my ticket to New Orleans last night, so I'm going to have a hard time saying that she was wrong. But I'll say this. Tom Cruise isn't deaf in the movie, but he's emotionally stunted, and she needs to teach him a thing or two about love. So I really think there's a case to be made here that she was like similar to mom's hero, Helen Keller's teacher, in that she had to teach this man how to open up his heart and be professional at the same time.
Okay. Her performance is a much knocked aspect of this movie in a
Wait,
way
is
that
it really?
yeah, in a way that
Why?
I don't think's entirely fair.
None
I
of it's
think
fair. Wait, why? No, what's the beef? I think she's punching above her weight.
I think the beef is really specifically in terms of her chemistry, or as most people see it, her lack of chemistry with Cruz.
I liked the sex scene. That was a very formative sex scene for me. I thought it was like kind of respectfully done. Like it's sexy. I mean, the lighting's amazing. And it's fucking Tony Scott, just like giving us silhouettes and edge light. And like, oh, by the way, did you think we were just going to talk like characters and fun lines and Slider, you stink? No, 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 no. We're doing like hardcore craftsmanship on Top Gun because quite frankly, it's on fucking point in this movie. Like everybody brought their A game in this movie. Okay, but let's talk about the sex scene, right? Like the music, incredible, great needle drop, great choice. They planned it earlier with the with a little like Muzak version of it for the melody. Though there's not many cuts in it, but it kind of cuts away as she's about to get naked, and then it like cuts to his back at some point. Right? Usually, most sex scenes will objectify the woman. It's like legs, breasts, butt, and it's about the woman. The cutaway is his back, which maybe is your argument that the filmmakers felt they didn't have good chemistry or something. That's not even the most objectifiable part of a man. She's just rubbing her hands on his back or digging her nails into his back. Uh, hard disagree. Hard disagree.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Oscar. She gets the Oscar.
Okay, she gets the Oscar. I'm going to go with Sigourney Weaver from a little movie called Aliens as my Oscar winner here.
I have to come up with a very, very creative argument for this that I just don't have, honestly. All right, here's what I'll say to that. There was a trailer before the movie for the new Grogu and Mandalorian movie, and Sigourney Weaver, I just discovered, is going to be in that movie. And is she not the perfect addition to the Star Wars universe? Like she was made for it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say to that.
Here's the only argument I could make against her winning, really, is if they had properly given her her goddamn Oscar for Alien, maybe you don't give it to her for the same role twice. But if you haven't
Oh,
given it to her for Alien, you need to give it to her for Aliens.
oh, you know what? Okay, I didn't know it was aliens. I thought it was alien. Okay, you know what? It's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. She's fucking fantastic in Aliens. She's like a star. I was just texting you about this the other day. I don't think she's properly recognized as our greatest movie stars, like one of our greatest talents that we've had over the generations, but she's like a sex star. She's tough. She's stoic and expressive and vulnerable. Like she can hold down the center of a movie like nobody's business.
Oh, I'm right with you. All right. Speaking of aliens, we're going on next to best visual
Wait,
effects.
are we gonna have to compete against Alien? Can we do best everything besides Aliens? I mean, this is gonna be a little. Actually, I mean, outside of Sigourney Weaver, it's pretty close. But special effects. Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, best visual effects. The winner was Aliens. My winner was Aliens. Another notable nominee for the two of us is Little Shop of Horrors in visual effects.
That actually should have been the winner, to be quite honest. Little, you, I sent you the thing of. Well, you'll have to repost the Instagram thing of all the puppeteers working the Audrey 2, the
Yes,
big Audrey
yes,
2. It's like
I will do
50
that
people.
when we drop this.
Actually, so this was my one zag. This is the one category where Top Gun does not deserve the Oscar, and let me tell you why. There's just not that many practical visual effects. So much of it is just practical and real. It's like real fucking jets. Like there's very few models in this movie. So no, it shouldn't win because it was so goddamn awesome. It filmed real fucking fighter jets.
It is pretty incredible that they just made the biggest deal ever with the military to say, hey, we don't need visual effects. All right, our third category, best makeup, won by The Fly, my winner as well.
Look, back to Kelly McGillis. She looked great. She looks great. Charlie. Actually, no. Here's the argument. Do you know how many spray bottles they went through wetting down all of those men for the entire movie? And actually, I want you to play a game next time you go back and watch this movie. Go to the shower scene after Maverick's been killed by Tom Selleck, and try to figure out which of them is going to the shower and which of them is coming from the shower because it's a lot harder than you think.
All right, next up for us, best costume design. A Room with a View won it. Of the nominees, I went with Peggy Sue Got Married.
Whatever. A room, I mean, so obvious. A room with a view. Those form-fitting, like, flight suits, you don't look that good in those. That's costuming right there, okay? And how they chose to dress Anthony Edwards for the beach volleyball scene, still looks sexy, still
That
looks
is
sexy.
that is the key piece of costuming in this movie. That hey, Anthony Edwards isn't going to look quite as good shirtless. Let's
Mhm.
give him a shirt, but let's make sure he's still looking great.
Those are all, like, great costumes. I mean, god, the boys are looking so good in their white get-ups in the bar. I mean, come on. These are like, choices were made. Great choices were made here, okay? I don't need to shit on A Room with a View, but we can say possibly, possibly for this
Another Room with a View win in best art direction. Yeah, talk to us about what art direction is, because I feel like this is one of those categories that it like comes up and I don't feel like the term is intuitive to people, so I don't think people necessarily know quite what it covers.
From what I understand, it covers everything from, like, it's the whole look of the, like, physical stuff in the world. So, like, production design, and I think it's mainly a production design award for, like, sets, but it also includes costumes and stuff, technically, is under their, scope, I think.
Um,
I think
so
I think
as I understand it, it it does not include specifically for the Academy Awards. I think they do not include costumes within it, but
no,
it
because
does include
that's its own
right.
award, but I think in the department I think in the hierarchy of the department, the costumes answer to the art director.
Okay. And
Right.
yeah, it does include sets, locations, and props as well, which is part of it that is often overlooked.
How believable is this fucking world? You feel like you're on a military base the whole time. You feel like you are on an aircraft carrier, you know what I mean? But you're on an aircraft carrier and then they're doing scenes with what's the little guy's name who smokes a cigar? Does he have a name? Did they say his name ever? I was trying to figure that out. Anyway, so let's actually talk about some art. So anyway, we're on the aircraft carrier for all these like amazing documentary, like this docu montage, everything's at sunset. By the way, this fucking show must have taken 10 years to film because they filmed every single scene at the magic hour. They filmed nothing at noon. They filmed like one thing at night, and it's like Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis making out on a motorcycle. Hot chemistry there. Take me to bed and lose me forever. No chemistry, please. So like you go inside for these scenes with Stinger that like really hold the tension together and like what's going on in this movie. Because by the way, like without Stinger and without the like basically voiceover of what the people are saying, this movie is incomprehensible. If you watch it on mute, it's just a bunch of people going like, but you cut inside the Stinger and it feels like he's inside an aircraft carrier. Like those sets are tight. There's a lot going on. He's smoking in there, by the way, which seems like a terrible idea. What a terrible place to have a fire in an enclosed space where all your radar is. The scenes where they're in the locker room, that had to be a set because they have a couple times where they like boom down in that space. And so I'm thinking it has no ceiling, right? I had to remind myself, like, oh yeah, we're in the interiors now. It was like, oh wow, they really blended these really well. Also, we take it for granted all the shit that's on the walls behind them. It's a little like, I mean, dare I invoke the name of the god, eat its head, but it's a little bit like that in Vertigo when we're in Midge's apartment and there's like all the stuff on the walls. All the spaces in this movie have pictures of old airmen, or sometimes it's not even about air shows. I actually caught there's like a roller coaster on a bulletin board behind them, which kind of makes sense that these guys would like maybe be into like roller coaster news. You know what I mean? So like, I actually think the art direction is excellent.
I noticed some things like the bar they're in where he first meets her. When she goes into the ladies' room, it looks like bathroom doors at a military installation or another institution. And like, I think you're kind of going second level there because it's a bar. It's not that it's part of it, but it's a bar that caters to this population. So then
Yeah,
the bar is mimicking the
yeah,
aesthetic of a base.
yeah.
I just think there were strong, art direction choices made throughout that make it a very lived in world.
And it's clearly way, way better than the nest of a mother alien. I mean, geez, what's to appreciate there?
And those are a dime a dozen. I
Yeah,
mean,
a
right.
indeed, indeed.
Come on, it's not cheating. You could just make shit up there. This had to match real stuff.
It's true. It's true. It's
All
true.
right, so we're gonna go with a clear win for Top Gun
Clear
on
win.
that one.
Clear win. No close seconds.
All right, a category here that I think a lot of people would not think it was eligible for, but best adapted screenplay, because this was actually based on an article.
Nice. And Simpson and Brockheimer bought the article and they hired Cash and Epps. Is that the deal?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So 100% winner. And actually, they actually could win for this. I legitimately feel this way. I also knew Jack Epps. He was the head of the writing, is the head of the writing program at USC. He wore a leather bomber jacket most days. It wasn't like all of Maverick's patches, but once you knew, you know what I mean? And I would like occasionally pump him for like Don Simpson stories. He's a great guy, great teacher. But the screenplay is fantastic, man. The screenplay is fantastic. You've got a hero who really has some stakes, actually. Like he really has like an inner life and some stakes. He's not just like a commando. You know what I mean? So he's not Arnold in Predator who's just like avenging his friend, which is all you would have needed for this because you're really just selling like the sexy jets were enough to carry this movie, right? But Maverick has some real stakes. He's got a history that his themes carry through. Maverick, you need to let go. He needs to let go of his past with his father. He needs to let go of Goose. And he manages to do so in the film. And that's in order to grow, right? And in order to be the best pilot he can be and the best man he can be, right? Kelly McGillis, actually, to bring it back to code sign Charlie, she's a civilian, so you do not salute her, but she knows what she's talking about. Charlie is super interesting, actually, because when she invites him over to the house, she says, "Oh, you're a smart girl. You're a smart girl. So why don't you?" Like the scene picks up in mid conversation. You're a smart girl, so why don't you just tell him? You're asking him here for the Mig. And when I was little, I always just thought that was like clear bullshit. And she's playing the subtext. She's romantically interested in him, but she is actually interested in the Mig. I mean, she's interested in him as well, but she is like a career driven woman. Like this, like whether everything happens with Goose or not, like she's leaving and taking the job, even if they're happy and in love. You know what I mean? For a movie without many women in it, the two prominent women in it are amazing. I mean, three, counting Peggy Benjamin, obviously, who never makes the screen, but still gets two good laugh lines, two or three good laugh lines.
Let me jump in with a couple things on screenplay that I really
Yeah.
love. I like that Goose dies in training and is not killed
Yes.
by the enemy. I
Yes.
think
Great call.
I think the obvious thing would be, oh, he's,
Yes.
he gets, they get back into another encounter. He's killed by the Russians, and now it's revenge against the Russians. But it's not that. It's placed so much better for it to be a situation where maybe Mav screwed up, and that even when they clear him of that, he feels like I'm such a great pilot. I should have been able to avoid that spin. That he carries that with him, and that it makes, to your point, it makes the end about honoring Goose and not avenging Goose, which I think is a much more satisfying thing for an audience.
Great calls.
Um,
Great calls. On that note, amazing how much tension this movie is able to sustain just in training, right? And amazing how much you feel it when they go into the actual one battle they have. Like you really like you feel tense watching the other dogfights. And then they go into the actual battle and it's really, really tense.
we'll get to music here, but one of the things that I love in terms of that is they really simplify the music when it comes to the dog fights and action scenes, that it is either that iconic piece of the score, or extended piece, iconic score, or it is Danger Zone. Like they
Okay.
don't
Are we talking who? I haven't looked at did Kenny Loggins do the score? Who did the score?
No, no, he did not.
Okay. It's really interesting. They don't use that much score in this movie. There's only like 3 themes. There's like the Mavericks sad theme that like down, down. There's that one. There's the Mavericks in trouble scene as it hands down on him during that court scene where they're like, there was nothing the pilot could do. Though, and there's like one other like little theme, and the rest of it is needle drops, which are pre-composed songs or songs composed for the movie, but songs. And often they are instrumental versions of the songs, right? So, like, one of the training sequences is "Take Me Down." What's the name of that song? On the Broadway. Whatever that song is, but it's just the instrumental version of that posing as score. They use an instrumental version of "Take My Breath Away" that kind of works as like a lover's theme, you know?
But I mean, the anthem, the opening,
Well, yeah, no, it's iconic. The
yeah,
score though is great. I was just surprised at how little score there was.
I hear you. Now, I'm gonna question you on something here. Do you think it counts as a needle drop if something was written for the movie?
Yeah, because I think a needle drop is any song. When we use it in post, we're usually talking about songs that we have to pay for.
So funny enough, actually, the next thing I had up was best original score, which we kind of transitioned right into without me even meaning to. This is an incredible score, and I know you're going to argue for it. The winner is Round Midnight, which I'm not familiar with. I don't even know what that movie is. I didn't look it up. But my favorite score of all time was also this year. Do you know what my favorite score of all time is?
I don't know because Psycho wasn't this year, and that's the greatest score of all time. So,
The Mission.
oh, the mission. The mission has a great score. That
Yeah,
mission is a
yeah, that really does. So
Oh,
staying in
wait, did we
the
talk about that song, or are we doing that
well,
next?
we're going to best song next.
Okay,
So,
okay.
what won for best song? Can you remind us?
Highway to the danger
Incorrect, Jeff.
zone. What?
Incorrect. The one Academy Award that Top Gun won was best song for "Take My Breath Away."
Wait, was that song written for the movie?
It was. Next up, best supporting actress.
You do it. You do it.
So Meg Ryan is incredible in this. It's
Wait,
a
wait, are you wait, are you about to go? Are you about if you're gonna say that someone else deserves it over Meg Ryan, let's just move on to the next category because I'm gonna get genuinely upset.
Jeff, I have 2 words for you, and those words are Diane Wiest. Diane Wiest and Hannah and Your Sisters. Well, if it was her Bullets Over Broadway win, fine. I'd say let's give it to Meg Ryan. Hannah and her fucking sisters.
All right, can I make the case for Meg Ryan?
Yeah, try. Go for it.
Because there is a case. There is a case. And here's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be impact for screen time, right? Like, if you look at she is not in much of this movie, and her emotional impact is enormous. I mean, first of all, you've got Kelly McGillis, who I think is smoking hot in this movie and super cool, whatever anyone else thinks. And you've got Meg Ryan coming in and somehow also being very attractive and amazing and like appealing as a partner. And like, it's amazing that she can still like find some shine in this solar system. And then just w- because we love her so much, it makes Goose's death so much more impactful. And actually getting back to screenwriting, I don't know if the screenwriting, directing, or editing, because if Jack Epps and his buddy chose to do this, they have some brass balls. When Goose dies, when Maverick and Meg Ryan confront each other for the first time, they have like 2 lines. She was like, "He loved flying with you. He would go back up there and fly without you. He would hate it, but he would do it." And then she leaves. She doesn't even say bye. And like that is everything we need. So much is said between looks between them. And it both sinks our hearts, like it makes Goose's death even sadder. and it gives us the platform for the healing that's about to start happening.
It gives Mav and through Mav us not only permission for him to fly again, but almost requires him to
Rook
fly again.
100%.
Without
100%.
using a lot of words, and it's her acting as much as it is the screenplay that
100%.
we just totally buy that. Yeah, she's this amazing in so few scenes combination of really fun but also an emotionally grounding force. It's the engine of the movie. I mean, her and Goose really are the emotional engine of the movie in a way.
Y Yeah. 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 I can't put it any better than that. I can't put it any better than
But
that.
I still got to say, my girl Diane Wiest, it was established in the Lost Boys episode, a lifelong love of mine, her best performance. Yeah, I love you, Meg, but I got to go, Diane.
I'm getting another NA beer. I can't stand for this.
Best supporting actor. And this is an interesting best supporting actor year for a couple of reasons. Michael Caine wins also for Hannah and her sisters. The tough thing from this one, I think I know where you're going, but I think multiple nominees.
This is the problem with this movie is you can never win best supporting actor because they would split the vote with itself, right? So that is why, sure, it can be Michael Caine or whoever else you want that gave an inferior performance to Val Kilmer, that gave an inferior performance to Anthony Edwards, that gave an inferior performance to Tom Skerritt. He's fucking great in this movie. He's so good. And on the big screen, you see all those nose hairs. But
Michael Ironside is Jester.
you know what this film could and should have won for if it had been casting director, if it had been an award then, because because if you look at like Hannah and her sisters, like those are all stars, like those are all offers out to them. They're being asked to do it, right? Like this like team of dudes that they assembled, these are people that the casting director knew of that these guys can all work.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I mean, even you know, this is a star vehicle for Tom Cruise in a sense, like it certainly became one. But this is not a movie that was only made because Tom Cruise was in it. This movie was going to be made. It was a big deal from a production standpoint. I think they cast their number one pick for sure,
Yeah.
but they're really casting throughout. Tom Skerritt had done some good work. Nobody's buying tickets because of Tom Skerritt or Michael Ironside,
No.
but they got the best people they could find for the role. Just a number of great supporting performances. But
Which, by the way, when you have that many good supporting performances, is a credit to writing, right? As well, right? So we're going to say the casting director is great, but that's also just great fucking writing. You have that many
yeah,
bit parts with that many great lines.
I could really make a strong argument that Anthony Edwards is my winner this year for best supporting. We've talked about the degree to which he's the heart of the movie and just what makes it run.
And then we're just leaving out Val Kilmer, like how fucking great Val Kilmer is. One of the most amazing bad guys ever. You know what I mean? I guess he's the villain of this film, right? Kind of.
So I had an interesting discussion. My friend Rebecca came to see this with me today. I have always felt like he's pretty sinister, and the line where he says after Goose dies, when he gives Mav's condolences and says everybody liked him, I've always heard that like everybody liked him, with the
Yeah.
implication that they don't like
No,
Maverick.
he just didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to say. It's
That's
like
what
there's
she
our
said.
epidemic of yeah, there's our
That's
epidemic
what
of
she
male
said as
loneliness.
well.
That man has no idea how to express his feelings.
Yeah,
He's trying to find something to say to him and he can't. He's just like, this is the best I can come up with because God knows I'm not going to say I love you. I'm so sorry that happened. You know?
yeah, and that was more my read today. I read him as less sinister than I ever have before. One of the great things about these re-releases, besides the remastering quality and that sort of thing, is just the making you fully engage with a movie that you've probably watched on autopilot a lot. Like even if you were paying attention, that you kind of have your preconceived grooves with it. I think his performance, like her take, which I think I tend to agree with, is when he talks about, but he certainly got bravado, but when he talks about safety being important, that like
Yeah,
he
he's
actually
not.
means that.
No, yeah, he's cocky. But guess what? Tom Skerritt likes that in the pilot, Brad. He's obviously friends with Goose. You watch him greet Goose in the bar, and they're buddies. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, it
Um,
comes up and it's Mother Goose right
yeah,
away, you know?
right
Yeah.
away, right away. Yeah, and by the way, Maverick is dangerous. Maverick did get his fucking Rio killed. Let's be clear. Another part of the great writing is Goose is saying, "Get in there, Mav," so we don't blame him as much, and Goose has to actually pull the thing, the eject, to like, so we don't blame Maverick quite as much. But Maverick is being an asshole. He's trying to edge him out, and he flew too close. It kind of was his fault. He's right. Maverick is dangerous.
All right, next two categories up, best sound and best sound effects editing. I can't necessarily differentiate between these categories much as a viewer or listener.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't wanna be a jerk because I really appreciate that they were 2 different categories, but yeah, for the average person, I think considering them as, like, 1 unit is great. The sound is amazing, right? So, here's a couple things to consider, right? So, let's just think about what they shot, right? Let's think about what the editor got in dailies, and it's most of the time, some guy in a set cockpiece going like this with a mask on, looking left to right, right? And then we're cutting to footage that was filmed of planes zipping by, but they weren't rolling sound when that happened, you know? And then we're cutting like down to military bases where there's like radar going that like might be beeping or something. And then you also have to have beeps that tell us things like the fuel is low or the missile lock is close and the missile lock is on. And then you also need sound to say the missile lock is about to be on us as well, right? None of this is production audio. This is all added after the fact to make things clear to you, right? So all of that is an incredible lift and vital to the story, which would be incomprehensible without it. And then you have this like story score going through the whole thing mixed with dialogue, right? So you need to be able to hear Goose say things like, "We're going ballistic, Mac. Go get him." And you need to hear Kenny Loggins going, "Dan, dan, 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 dan." And you need to hear the jet go. And you're kind of like juggling all of those three things. And you're trying to decide what to bring to the foreground and what to bring to the background. And it's like masterful how they do that. And it's essential to this story. Essential.
Yeah, it is incredible to be working at that kind of volume on multiple things. And I really appreciate what you pointed out. There is such a language of sound in this movie, and we have to learn it so quickly. Like,
Yeah.
we need to, in that first encounter, kind of understand visually and from an auditory standpoint, like what the radar, what the lock is, what the whole way they function in the planes. And the sound is such a massive part of that. And I was absolutely thinking today about the balance of like, you've got jets, the loudest thing in the world. How do you respect that noise? Like, you can't put them way down in the
And
mix or it's just not going to
and
sound right.
And the MiG jets sound different than the US jets. The sound legitimately deserves the Oscar. Like, I don't what did win? What did
Oh,
win?
yeah. Platoon won best sound and Aliens
Okay.
won best sound effects editing.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, neither bad winners. I have Top Gun for both of those.
Yeah.
I just think it's the most impressive from a soundscape standpoint. I've not seen Platoon on the big screen. I have seen Aliens on the big screen. I'm not a huge Platoon fan, honestly. So,
Oh, that surprises me.
yeah,
That
um,
surprises me.
just not a favorite of mine.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
moving on, best cinematography won by The Mission. Not a super impressive year in the cinematography category for me in terms of the nominees.
Except for
Uh,
Top Gun.
No, well, it's not a nominee. That's what I'm saying as far as the actual
Okay.
nominees. Yeah, it was The Mission, was the winner. Peggy Sue Got Married, Platoon, A Room with a View, and Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home.
Wow. The cinematography in this is incredible. Tony Scott was like a renowned commercial director, right? And maybe there's a bias against the cinema. I mean, it's also like a popcorn movie, right? So a lot of the coverage is simple, right? All right, here we go. Jeff's going to talk about in camera editing again. This is not in camera editing. This is coverage. This is we're shooting performance and we're piecing scenes together through a shot of Kelly McGillis and a shot of Tom Cruise, or maybe a two shot of Goose and Maverick and our single shot on Stinger, right? That's how we're building this world. And it totally works and it looks beautiful, right? So it's not necessarily showy shots in that sense. So I already talked about the sex scene where it's like they're bathed in cool light, it's edge light, it's silhouettes, it's against the curtain, so it's like super sexy. And then she wakes up the next morning and it's immediately warm, right? It's like all like orange tones. They really capture Southern California. Having lived in Southern California for a bunch of years now, it really feels like San Diego. Like it is those colors. You know what I mean? That color palette. There's lots of great little things like Tom Skerritt looking out the window and playing with the blinds and just all kinds of cool little shots. But honestly, they just like, make the actors look really good and let them cook in this movie. But then also like all the exteriors where it's like riding on the motorcycle. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
All right, next up, Best Actor. And I'm gonna let you talk a little bit, and then I'm gonna tell you who won it.
Tom Cruise is not only he's the movie star. He's somehow sexy, obviously, known for drama, but also does huge, hilarious characters, right? Has been doing it forever, like leading movies forever. And in fact, in this, you can like he's quite young in this movie. Like his voice is still a little higher. He's got a unibrow.
Oh yeah, he was probably only like 23 when they shot this. I mean,
I
for
mean,
a man, especially really young, to be leading this big a movie.
but it's incredible that he can be sexy and dangerous and somehow still wholesome, right? Like there is a moral fabric to him, right? And it's not that Tom Cruise doesn't have any edge to him, but he still is wholesome somehow within all of this. I mean, he's the best. He's the best.
This is maybe oversimplifying, but there is something of the Midwestern boy that always remains in him in almost every performance. There's a few that maybe it doesn't, where to his credit, where he is not going for that, but it is very much part of his movie star persona. Is this kind of not overly straight laced, but essentially wholesome. I am going to predict, though, that once you hear who the winner is, you are not going to take the Academy Award away from this winner. I'll give you a hint first. The Tom Cruise is also in the movie, the Best Actor winner. So one of Tom Cruise's probably last supporting performances, other than like cameo type supporting performances.
He did
It's
no
a Rega sequel for a movie that was made by 20 plus years earlier.
what? What is this movie?
The Color of Money.
Oh,
Paul Newman, Best Actor.
wow. Well, I could never take an Oscar away from Paul Newman, but they should have given two.
Just an incredible performance by Newman. All right, next up, Best Director. The winner, Oliver Stone for Platoon. Also nominated Woody Allen, James Ivory for A Room with a View, Roland Joffe for The Mission, and David Lynch was nominated for Blue Velvet.
Did we skip editing? Are we not doing editing, or are you coming to that last?
We're doing editing, Jeff. Come on.
Okay,
Who am I here?
okay, okay. But you think about all the pieces that he had to put together to tell this story, right? So he's got to get these jets flying by. By the way, the Scott brothers, incredible at blocking large pieces of equipment. So, like, you think about Thelma and Louise, and it's like one cop car, and then the camera pans, and it's like a whole herd of cop cars, and then it pans a little more, and it's like a helicopter's coming in, right? Like, they're choreographing these jets to do these things. And some of them must have just been like footage that they just had from passes, but some of them they needed really specific stuff, you know? And so he's balancing all of these like high concept, really difficult things with these big practical machines. And then he's like tending to like group dynamics in scenes with 20 dudes all cutting up and making sure that like everybody gets a good laugh line and everyone has a sharp, clear character, right down to like Sundown and Merlin. These are guys who you know who they are, right? This is all directing. And for as much of a popcorn film as it is restrained in some ways, like in some of those ways that I was talking about, where it's like there's a lot of like classical coverage. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? I also love all the off speed stuff, right? So, like, Goose bends down to hug his son, and it's like a little bit slow mo. You know what I mean? It's just all really impressive and beautiful, but also feels alive. He clearly just understands. It's amazing to have that level of, like, visual storytelling, be able to manage something that big, deal with people, and understand that many technical elements. That's a lot of expertise that are involved to make this film.
Well, I don't know what I can add to that. I will tell you, I think he's my best director this year for exactly the reasons you're talking about, of the number of different things that this movie is doing and doing amazingly well. Its degree of difficulty is off the charts. And there are so many ways this movie could be bad. It's like it's an
So
amazing
many.
feat to just avoid being bad, much less be great.
Totally.
Next up, our second to last category, because we know it is the most important thing in any movie, best film editing.
It 100% deserves the win. Did it get nominated?
It was nominated.
Like I was saying, like, this is all made in the cutting room. All right. All right. So you have these performances that you're piecing together through classical coverage, right? So it's like Tom Cruise talking to Kelly McGillis. Fine. You've got these action sequences where you have to feel this tension of what's going on, and you're balancing these planes going by with these shots of dudes inside cockpits, but their faces are covered, right? So you somehow have to get their emotion, right? Like Cougar, you have to understand that, like, Cougar's fucking losing it up there, and so you're cutting back and forth between his eyes and the picture, and you're balancing that with the jet approaching. It's just an incredible feat. Honestly, it's an incredible feat, and then they're putting in all of that sound too, because who knows if they're even talking half the time when those lines are put in, right? Their mouths are covered for a lot of it, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like they're placing all of that ADR, whether it's scripted or not. And I can tell you for a fact that when you have someone's mouth covered like that, it's going to get rewritten a lot in the edit. You know what I mean? It's masterful. It's masterful. Who cut it?
Chris Rebenzon and Billy Weber.
These guys know what the fuck they're doing. That's a lot to juggle. I mean, if you just think of like the assistant editor's job trying to keep all of that footage organized, it's like, oh, we need to go to a shot of two MiGs whizzing by on the right side, and then you have to go through all that and find that. Like, that's just a huge feat right there. Incredible job by those guys. What did win this year? What did you say won?
Platoon one.
Oh, okay, okay. A lot of great characters in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Platoon, it was the prestige war movie, whereas this
yeah.
was the action war movie. And at that time, that carried a lot more weight.
I will say though, the Academy gets this right a lot of times. If you look at the things that win best editing, a lot of times it's like car movies. And that's right. Because of this it's the exact same juggle that I'm talking about right now. You're looking at the cars and you're looking at the racers inside the cars, and none of these specific shots carry any tension unto themselves. So you have to piece them together in such a way that they create some kind of story and tension. So yeah, I think if Top Gun came out now, there's a good chance that it would win.
All right, the final award of the night, Best Picture. I'll run down the nominees for you. Children of a Lesser God, Hannah and Her Sisters, The Mission, A Room with a View, and Platoon.
Okay, here's the case for Top Gun. All of those movies specialize in one amazing thing, and Top Gun's whole is amazing. This is a half-baked cake and total bullshit, but just go with me here, okay? Hannah and her sisters, right? It's like the artsy character development things. As we've covered, Top Gun has great characters in it and a great ensemble cast. So it's competitive with Hannah and her sisters now in Hannah and her sisters' strongest suit, okay? Um,
Anna and her
Platoon
sister's action scenes suck. I mean, there's not single explosion in Hannah and her sisters. It's really, it's a sore point for me.
Platoon, the war scenes in Top Gun are more engaging than the war scenes. Despite Willem Dafoe's amazing death in Platoon, the war scenes in Top Gun are better on a whole. I guess. I don't know. I'm really whatever. It's Top Gun. Just fuck it. Just cut everything. Cut everything else I say. Just say it's Top Gun. I don't care what else you say. How about that?
If I was going to make an argument for it, I will tell you, I think my winner that year of the nominees, there may be movies off the nominee list I would actually pick, but of the nominees, I think it would be Hannah and her sisters for me. The best argument I can make for Top Gun over Hannah and her sisters is that Hannah and her sisters, as great as it is probably only about Woody Allen's fourth best movie, and Top Gun is Top Gun.
Actually, here's the real case for Top Gun. If you did the Bill Simmons version of, but what is actually the most important movie, now that we're, 40 years later or whatever it is, what is the most important movie to film? It's Top Gun still. Its star is so bright and it's so influential and amazing, and it still hits. You know what I mean? And by the way, that is the amazing part of all this practical shooting that they did with these real jets is that like all that shit still holds up. There's no like CG to apologize for.
No, it is remarkable in that way. And that was something with seeing it today on the big screen is like, you just don't see the seams in this movie.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned noticing the model and the flat spin. I have to tell you, I get so caught, especially today, I got so caught up in watching it that I didn't even think to look for that kind of thing. And like, normally some part of my brain is engaged, not in a negative sense, but like I noticed that's a model or like that's a cool effect. It's so seamless that like that part of my brain just didn't engage while watching it.
Camelot, Camelot, Camelot. It's all very modal. Anyway. Well, I have to brace myself for Goose death because I don't want to be crying by myself in a movie theater at 1 p.m. during a popcorn flick. So I was like, all right, his death is coming. So what's going to happen? It's going to be the flat spin. Oh, yeah, let's pay attention to the flat spin because, yeah, things are about to get real sad.
For a movie I've seen so many times, I'll have Goose's death sneak up on me sometimes, which is weird. All right, then. Any final thoughts on Top Gun before we wrap this up?
Any final thoughts on Top Gun? It's so good. Genuinely laughing, like genuinely when like, yeah, you know what I mean?
All right, well, that seems like a great note to end this on. Jeff, I want to thank you for your second appearance on the show. You've got a couple others planned coming up here. Eventually,
I'm not quite dead yet. I'm not quite dead yet. Hi, bud.
Later, man.
Peace.
That's it for this one, folks. I'm Brad Glaser. I host, produce, and edit the show. Thanks go out to the Brain Trust and the oft-threatened YFF After Show Review. Julia Mott, you can be my wingwoman anytime. The music you hear at the beginning of the show and now is by my friend Richard Bates and his band The Huns. That's H-O-N-S. You can find The Huns music on Bandcamp. This Sunday, I'm talking Christine, one of the most fun Stephen King adaptations, with my man Scott Lucius Wilder. Scotty is a New Orleans filmmaker and a character in the best sense of the word. I can't tell you how much fun we had in this conversation. It's going to be scattered, winding, and at times nearly incomprehensible. But for anyone who loves 80s cinema, give yourself over to it, and I think you'll enjoy listening to it just as much as we enjoyed making it. Please follow, rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, all the things. Those reviews in particular, no matter how long or short, really help us reach more people. You can follow us on Instagram at Your Favorite Flick, on Letterboxd at Favorite Flick, or shoot us an email at yourfavoriteflick@gmail.com. Huns, take us out.
Is that any part of keeping your heart? If I spent those same days brushing up on poetics, that's 14 times 365 inflection.